is ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thanks for joining us again this hour on CoreTV News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Now, reports just reaching us say service chiefs have arrived at the National Assembly for a closed session with the senators as a rescheduled sittings on the proposed extension of what is now being called the emergency rule in 3 northeastern states are being settled. Former head of state Muhammadu Buhari is optimistic that he would be the flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress in the 2015 election. He expressed his conviction after submitting his presidential nomination form at the party's national secretariat in Abuja. The retired general handed over the duly completed form to the APC national chairman, John Odigo-Yego.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for making yourself available to this important occasion. I thought my home should come not on the last day of submission, but somewhere maybe in the first 3. But I was told that it has to be submitted today. If I knew I would submit it today, I would have been gorgeously dressed like Senator or distribution senator on my right. But I have to come with this. I don't regret it because all efforts to look young has to be done. So I think somehow the dress is good enough. And distinguished chairman, please accept this form. This is a form that will deliver me to that well-protected place surrounded by the rocks. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, General, to receive you, because what you've done today is a confirmation that you are serious for the race. If you pick a form and you don't return it, we are not sure yet that you mean business. But I'm glad that the form is here and you are the 3rd aspirant that has confirmed his continuation in the presidential race. So I greet you and I wish you the very best.
The federal government has admitted that electricity power generation is fluctuating between 3,750 and 4,500 megawatts, but is convinced that it could still meet its year-end target of 5,500 megawatts. Minister of Power Nebo says the government is seeking options to boost power supply and also raised hopes of better gas supply to the power plants. He was speaking at the ministerial briefing on the power sector scoreboard of the Jonathan administration in Abuja.
It will take time. People were asking me to give time and time and time. I can't, because there are so many determinants. Some people will get full power supply very soon. Others will get near full. Others will get incremental, power supply, and so on, until it goes round. But it's going to take a little while when everybody gets it. Because not only in the generation, you have to make sure that the transmission network is in place, and you have to make sure that the distribution network is in place.
Just in now, another bomb blast has been recorded at the Maiduguri market. We'll keep you up to date with details of that report subsequently in our bulletins. Youth corps members in the Federal Capital Territory on Monday took to the streets over the non-payment of their 6 months allowances by officials of the Kuje Area Council, where they've been serving. After the peaceful protest on the outskirts of the Abuja city center, the corps members were seen in groups discussing the outcome of their action. They told CoreTV News that several bullets were fired into the air by security operatives to disperse them. However, efforts to speak to the council chairman were not successful, as he was said to be attending a meeting.
This morning we just held a peaceful demonstration, actually, to show our grievances about our allowance. And right now, we're almost, successful about it. Yes, shots were fired up this morning after the chairman came in and it was like he's going to bring his guys, and shots were fired up, but thank God nobody was injured somehow.
What happened was that we have had several meetings with the chairman that we need him to be paying us our allowance. Though the money is just a very small amount, 5,000 every month. But the man has been refusing to dance to our tune. Whenever we go to his office to discuss anything as regards that, he will just be taking us for granted. Not that we are hungry or because of the money, but when the CLO, who is representing us, as in our representative in his office, goes to visit him, the man will never say the feedback the CLO will give us that the man was just taking her for granted. Maybe it's because she's a female, all sorts of things.
Human rights lawyer Festus Keyamo has instituted a suit in a federal high court in Abuja over allegations of a threat to his life by former Niger Delta militant leader Government Ekpekpemolo Tompolo. Keyamo is asking the court to compel the Department of State Services and the police to invite Tompolo for investigation over the threat to his life and other acts of terrorism. He disclosed in a personally signed statement that he was forced to go to court to be sure of the refusal of the police and DSS to respond to his petition after a 72-hour ultimatum. The Department of State Security has admitted raiding an office belonging to the All Progressives Congress, but claims there were no signs that it was a party office. DSS spokesperson Marilyn Oga disclosed in a statement issued in Abuja that the raid was based on a petition that permanent voter cards were being cloned in the building located in Ikeja, Lagos. She confirmed that a number of arrests were made while DSS operatives retrieved a server, 3 hard drives and 31 bags of hard copies of data which are being analyzed. Oga added that investigations have begun to determine whether the allegations in the petitions are true or not. Meanwhile, in a swift reaction to that, the national leadership of the All Progressives Congress is not leaving anything to chance concerning the attack on its offices in Lagos. The party, at a meeting with journalists in Lagos, described the invasion of its database center as a premeditated attack. Oluwaseyi Adegoke was at the briefing and filed in the support.
Operatives of the DSS and soldiers attached to the unit stormed the Lagos APC office last Saturday and vandalized everything in sight. They claimed that they received a petition that the office was being used to clone INEC's permanent voter cards. The authorities of the DSS also confirmed this position, a development the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Lai Mohammed, described as very disturbing, especially in democracy.
This is clearly a premeditated invasion aimed at destabilizing the APC. See, even from the location of this office and from the activities going on there, nothing but, compiling a database. They did it, of course, it was programmed for 3 reasons. One, to ensure that we have no database, so we cannot even contact our people. We don't even know our strength. Two, now that they have in their possession our database, everything in their possession, it's easy for them to use this to rig elections, because it's a matter of knowing exactly where is our strength and then depriving such people of the permanent voters cards. Or on election day, making sure that electoral materials don't arrive early enough or at all in those areas. But, and of course, finally, is further evidence of desperation of this government.
Dismissed claim by the DSS that the office in question did not carry any inscription to show it belonged to the APC, adding that there is no place in the law for the excuse.
Is there any law in Nigeria that says I must put a signboard in front of my office, in front of my house, as long as what I'm doing there is legal and lawful? And for God's sake, what were we doing here? We were trying to develop our database. Are we now going to put APC signboard there so that everybody will come in and disturb them? And if you have a good intelligence gathering organization and you do not rely on beer parlor rumor, you should know what is going on here. I don't think it's an excuse that because they don't have the APC, signboard there. I know many corporate organizations. You do not find their names where they are doing their research and policy, where they are doing their research and documentation of work. Of course, we don't have to put APC. This is not an APC party office. This is an APC resource center where we compile our database.
The APC urged all Nigerians to stop what it called an act of impunity embarked upon by the Jonathan administration. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Former Governor of Oyo State and governorship aspirant on the platform of a court party, Rashid Ladoja, has condemned political thuggery and violence which he said endangers the lives of citizens. Ladoja, who spoke against the backdrop of Sunday's violence which claimed his family house, called on the electorate to vote credible leaders that will ensure safety and peace at the grassroots. Omotayo Alo was at the Apapa community in Ibadan, where the former governor inspected the level of damage recorded during the incident and filed in this report.
It is clearly not a pleasant experience for residents of Isaleosi, Ilia Papa, after the terrible event that befell the community.
Last week's Monday, so was go to the church, but 3 days daily, the fight is happen. So because of government, you will help me.
They were coming from that place, and when they reached the place, they stopped and burned this place. They vandalized all the shops here. Were vandalized yesterday.
I know Dave or this around yesterday by the time that problem is happened. So I beg the government to come help me for my property.
The cause of the violence was said to be born out of the fight that ensued amongst APC political thugs, which led to wanton destruction and stealing of property worth millions of naira. Ladoja, whose family house was not spared in the attack, had a closed-door meeting with the State's Commissioner of Police before going to see things for himself. Ladoja, who is also aspiring for the governorship seat in the state, want politicians to desist from the path of violence and see service to the people as priority.
The unfortunate thing is that the government that prides itself on peace, it is its own party that are now causing this crisis, because it happened during their meeting, and at the end of it, you know them very well. They will push it to the doorstep of the opponent, because they will never accept there's anything wrong with them. But unfortunately for them, the people know what is happening. The electorates here are very well matured, and I can assure you that they will deal with them at the appropriate time, and that will be done in the election.
The community members are however calling on the state government for assistance over their lost property. Residents in this community have decried the magnitude of loss they had after the incident that happened on Saturday. Some lost houses, some lost properties of millions of naira. And their message to government and politicians is that they cease fire and come together and ensure that human beings, especially the masses, do not suffer for the activities of politicians. Omotayiwalo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
We'll take a break now and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a way, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is @CoreTV News. You can also watch us live on YouTube now. It's trending on youtube.com/CoreTV. The displays and news. The Ekiti State Police Command has paraded chairman of the Udua People's Congress in the state, Niyi Adedipe, in connection with the murder of former NURTW boss and PDP stalwart Omolafe Aderiye, who was killed on the 25th of September this year. The police command also paraded suspects accused of armed robbery.
Detectives of the command have also arrested one Adeniyi Adedipe, aka Apashe, for conspiracy and murder of Chief Omolafe Aderiye, former chairman of National Union of Road Transport Workers and staunch member of the People's Democratic Party in Ekiti, who was assassinated on 25 September 2014 in front of his private office located at Federal Polytechnic Road, Ado Ekiti. The available direct and circumstantial evidence then stated the arrest and prosecution of the suspects.
The Commissioner of Police, however, assures the people of Ekiti of all-round security protection while appealing to them for cooperation.
The command shall continue to partner with relevant stakeholders to sustain the peace in the state. I also want to use this medium to appeal to the good people of Ekiti State to embrace peace and report to the police any suspicious activities around them.
The arrest of Adedipe has added to the growing twist surrounding the high-profile killing of Aderiye. As Nigerians continue to react to last Thursday's siege of the National Assembly by the police, a member of the House of Representatives who was present there has now called on Nigerians to look beyond the lawmakers killing the fence. He says the democracy of Nigeria was at stake and the lawmakers did what was expected. Rashid has details.
For many Nigerians, the drama which played out at the National Assembly last Thursday is still a shock. The barricading of the National Assembly complex by the police and the scaling of fence by the lawmakers has led deep wound into many hearts. In his eyewitness account, Bimbo Daramola, a member of the House of Representatives, says the speaker was actually barred from entering the complex.
I was there when the speaker said, "My name is Amin Waziri Tambuwal. Will you please open the gate and let me go and preside?" And the guy just had his phone to his ears. And he was just talking. And Nigerians are not looking at that. That's number 4 man. And Nigerians are taking the slant and the spin of members engaging and decorous of scaling the fence.
But what really was the motive behind what many have termed a show of shame?
What was planned that day was to have the speaker kept outside. They have already demanded for the mace. They have activated Emeka Yedia to go and preside because I've been laying excuse that the speaker wasn't around, and then Emeka will preside, and then they will do kangaroo something, and then they will rule that the speaker is suspended or impeached, and then they will say go to court.
Members of the Green Chamber who scaled the fence, according to Daramola, are heroes of democracy.
That day, democracy was at the barricades. It was actually democracy that was barricaded. And that time called for people who could be decisive in favor of the people and in favor of this democracy that a lot of people have fought for. And that was why members had to take that extreme decision. It may be indecorous, but it was an ultimately demanding situation.
There have been several justifications and condemnations of the show of shame, which has remained a dent on the political image of Nigeria. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
The All Progressives Congress in Ekiti State has begun the screening of its aspirants for the National Assembly ahead of the 2015 general elections. The screening venue had incumbent National Assembly members seeking re-election and those aspiring to take over from them, also facing the 7-man panel which will decide their eligibility to contest the party's primary. Rashid was there and fought in the support.
The atmosphere around the screening venue may go for a research center, as aspirants were seen engaged in games while the real grilling was being conducted inside, where they face the screening panel that decides the eligibility for the APC primaries. This senatorial aspirant speaks on the conduct of the screening.
Screening here, I will have to say that I've tested other parties. I've tested PDP, I've tested APC, but I can say APC is an organized party, where there is transparency, there is diligence, integrity maintained, and they're also time conscious. I think we in APC, we are people, and we are going to change things and move this country forward.
These aspirants also expressed their minds on how to avert what they described as a plague ravaging the APC in the past.
I just finished my screening now, and everything went pretty well. I'm ready to roll for the primary now, because I have done my screening and everything, it's okay.
That there will be a transparent primary. And it's the first time I think that our party is really putting in a lot of effort into ensuring that this primaries is transparent. We're still in the process, and I'm praying and I believe that the process will go full circle.
Not minding the fact that the APC is in the opposition in Ekiti State, some aspirants also express optimism on the expected performance of the party at the general elections.
The kind of organization that exists within our party, APC, so I'm very confident that this screening will produce very credible results for all of us.
The political goons who are in the aims of machinations of replicating crisis within Nigeria operates within Ekiti and the National. I'm very seasoned in this game legislature. PDP has gotten to its highest point in Nigeria, and it's about that time it comes back down.
There is, however, a wind of anxiety blowing among the aspirants as the screening continues. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
Lagos State Governor Babátúndé Fáṣọlá has presented a 489 billion naira year 2015 budget estimate to the State House of Assembly. The budget has 51% capital expenditure and 49% recurrent expenditure. Abiola Oluwole brought back this report presented from our studios.
The year 2015 proposed appropriation bill has the same figure with that of 2014 budget. Fáṣọlá says the reason for proposing an appropriation bill that has the same figure with the current budget of the state is to ensure that the next administration in the state does not inherit any deficit. This, according to financial analysts, may not also be connected with the present austerity measures following the slump in global oil prices.
As you will observe, we have retained essentially the same budget size as 2014, and this is for many reasons. One reason is that we have kept a zero deficit in order to ensure that the next government does not inherit a deficit. This will give them room to start off very quickly when their programs begin to crystallize and they may need to raise funds in order to get going. Another reason for this is that our budgets, like all good budgets, are not defined by plans and expectations only. They make more sense if they are defined by resources.
Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Adeyemi Ikuforiji, assures that the lawmakers will do the needful to pass the budget.
The onus is now on the members of this honorable house to do the needful. I want to assure you that we will meticulously perform our professional duty.
The 2015 appropriation bill will be the last under the Fashola administration.
And that wraps it this hour on CoreTV News. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.